Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, you know what I'm saying? Have y'all kind of noticed something's going on? Y'all know when it comes to me, you know, sport guy, like the sport aspect of boxing as well. So I never was a real fan of this moniker, this face of boxing thing, right? Because I was like, face of boxing, give somebody the green light to not choose the harder fights, the sport of it, because they got fans of themselves. You know, people are fans of the face of boxing guy and like to call them that. But it's not like meaning you're the best. It never means you, not even in your division. And we got about 17 of them. But just a lot of people like you for other reasons. So, you know, I'm checking it out what's going on right now. And I'm noticing, remember I told you, this guy, Turki Alalshikh, Saudi Arabian cat, has got some money, got enough money to put on fights, real fights, 50-50 fights, 55-45 fights, 60-40 fights, but real fights, right? And not just one of them on a night, a whole lot of them. Some of the best cards we seeing, whole lot of fights. People are starting to have to fight each other. And, you know, what's going to happen is, I've seen this go down before when PBC came in, Al Heyman. They didn't like him because he was just like, hey, look, we can let the guys fight often and put them on free TV, you know? Meaning, let's get rid of this thing what Floyd Mayweather did, right? Because ain't nobody going to be no Floyd Mayweathers. You're not going to always keep an O and fight hard competition. Here's the thing, what they forget about it. They ignore the fans, right? We don't need to have somebody who's just undefeated. If he loses, we still gonna be fan of you. You know what I mean? They just keep telling us that. You know, like, oh, you gotta be undefeated. Floyd was undefeated because Floyd was an exceptional person in terms of he had discipline and he was awesome. You know, we ain't expecting all that from everybody. You might lose one or two if you're in some hard fights. You know, back in the day, had 3 or 4, you had trilogies because, hey, you guys are even, but you put on good fights. So everybody don't have to be undefeated. But we got into that, and we started getting these people that we like, and fans would argue that every time there's somebody has to have a fight that's hard, we don't want them to have it. But we want them to have the belts, though. We want them to ignore the hard people, right? But we want him to say that he's the best and have the belts too. And I'm talking Canelo Alvarez, first and foremost. You know, Canelo Alvarez, face of boxing. And you would ask yourself, well, why? And the reason was, well, he puts butts in seats, right? Because the Mexicans going to come check him out, regardless, But that wouldn't be a problem if that had nothing to do with the best. Because when you're talking Canelo Alvarez, you're talking a whole lot of people who were deprived of becoming great because they kept putting this guy there and gave him the belts. Instead of just saying, hey, we like him, he's good, but he ain't got no belts. These guys got the belts, and if he wants to, be great, then he has to go fight them. It's the other way around, then he doesn't have to fight nobody. Y'all know Demetrius Andrade, Jamal Charlo at 154, 160 pounds, 168, David Morrell, David Benavidez, right? Bivol, who beat him, and then you don't want to rematch him, not even at 168. Picking people around them. How could you pick a Yildirim or Rory Fielding and Liam Smiths and all of that, Khans and all that, when these people are there? We were deprived of Canelo versus either Jamal or Jamel Charlo, or Demetrius Andrade for undisputed. We're deprived that. Jamal Charlo is still crazy somewhere because he had 3 interim fights for Canelo's mandatory, and then they told him it's made up a franchise title right in front of his face in daylight and expect him to be sane. It was like, damn, well, you guys crazy or what? And it's do that and right in front of his face. And then this guy never has to fight him, but goes up to 168. We're going to take the belt from Benavidez, right? Give it to you. You ain't got to fight for it. Just here, take that. And then the other guys are mandatories for 2-3 years, and sanctioning bodies don't have to be held accountable. Here, we just want this guy to be in front, right? So that makes people like Gervonta Davis, the other face of boxing. Dude is in his division. I always complain about this. Gervonta Davis's division was another dude that was undisputed. Think about that. You the face of boxing, but there's someone else in your division that's undisputed. And all the fights we didn't have with him, if it was Devin Haney, Lomachenko earlier, he just wanted to fight Lomachenko, but not out the whole time. Teofimo Lopez used to be a 135-pounder. Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of fights. Gervonta Davis did something just like Canelo the other day. He said, when somebody would say, hey, well, what's up with Shakur Stevenson fight? Which is obviously the best fight there. And he said, what has he done? A 2-division champion that everybody's calling one of the best fighters they ever seen. And we'll say, who has he done? But I'm about to fight Roach. I'm about to fight, Isaac Cruz again, who also didn't want to fight him. But the dude who got 2 division champions got people scared of him. What everybody knows, Isaac Cruz didn't want none, Valdez didn't want none, Teofimo don't want none, and nobody want none, basically. And he's a boxer. He knows that. But that guy, what has he done in boxing? Doesn't it sound familiar to Canelo's or Demetrius Andrade, who everybody's most avoided fighter in boxing a whole long time? Long time. Ask the boxers themselves. They'll tell you. All the great boxers tell you Demetrius Andrade was the most avoided fighter ever. And it was tragic how that was able to happen in daylight. Those guys, right? He was able to call him a horrible fighter. The Zone didn't even put Canelo on blast. Paid him $385 million for 10 fights. And they signed everybody there. We're going to sign Munguia. We're going to sign Gennady Golovkin. We're going to sign Demetrius Andrade because Canelo got 10 fights. We're going to hopefully get them. We're going to fight them. When it came to Demetrius Andrade, Canelo was like, nope, I ain't doing that. But I don't care about that contract. I want out of the contract. In broad daylight. And DAZN didn't even say, well, you know what, Canelo, we're going to put you on blast and tell the world. No. When Demetrius Andrade fight, DAZN would say nothing about Munguia, nothing about Gennady Golovkin, nothing about Canelo, who was signed there. You know what they'll talk about? Jamal Charlo. Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo is a good fight. Chris Mannix and them. It's like, wait a minute, but these guys are signed right here. What are we talking about somebody on the other side of the street? That's what my proof is. The other side of the street don't mean nothing because that's what they would do to protect Canelo and Gennady Golovkin to a lesser extent. So face of boxing, for me, these guys who are able to do this in daylight, right in front of your face because their fans are like whatever, and they will call me a hater right now. It's like just because you want to watch sport and these guys are in the way of depriving other people of their greatness and everybody's in on it. So a guy like Turki Alalshikh is coming in and saying, you know what, I got enough money to forget all that. Ain't gonna be no face of boxing here unless you earn it. The face of boxing gonna mean the best fighter. It's not gonna be somebody y'all like because I'm gonna put all these fighters on and I'm gonna show y'all what's up and they fight against each other and they gonna do, because listen, Bivol, he lost against Beterbiev, right? I still think Bivol is the better fighter. They got to fight again to prove that guy. I didn't see nothing in that fight that makes me think Bivol ain't still the most awesome guy walking around. So they got to fight again. They both awesome still. Beterbiev still awesome because he won. You see what I'm saying? But they fought each other. They want to fight each other again. Beterbiev ain't say, okay, I won now. I don't want nothing to do with you. That's what's up. So, we like to thank Turki Alalshikh. I know some of you probably like, damn, man, I don't want him in here because my dudes, I can't have them at the top. Well, here's the deal. We got YouTubers and stuff out there and other kind of fights. That's what I told you Canelo wants. Jake Paul and them and Conor McGregor and all that stuff. That's what he want to fight already. This dude's still in his prime. But have you noticed Canelo and Gervonta talking about retirement? It ain't because they old. It's because that game they playing is old. And it's about to get, put on blast, and so they got to do something, right? And here's the deal. Canelo loses or whatever, he still would be good or awesome to you guys. Gervonta could lose a fight. I wouldn't care because as long as he's against somebody that he's supposed to be fighting, and then whatever. But sitting around thinking, saying that Shakur Stevenson ain't done nothing, when you know that everybody's avoiding him. Demetrius Andre is a horrible fighter, and you could become undisputed by beating him in the middleweight division. But instead of saying, "Oh man, all I need is that one belt to become middleweight undisputed, the first one in history, or as a Mexican," and because I wouldn't care if he's a horrible fighter, then go get that belt easily from him then, but wouldn't call him names, and then we supposed to be up here and just act like we don't see that. Not here, gentlemen. So at the end of the day, let's thank Turki Alalshikh. I had to use Alalshikh to get that rhyme on. Anyway, y'all, yeah, it's ranting, man. It's just at the end of the day, though, man, we got to get it like this, man. Even boxing, it has to, fly right. Let's get it together, you know what I'm saying? Even the fans, I know mostly people are young and you guys get into people a little bit more because of social media than back in the day. We didn't do that, we weren't like that, fanatical and everything like that. We wanted our fighters. Even today, even if you notice, the guys that are getting up there and a little bit in age, they want their fighters to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, oh, no, I don't want my fighter to fight somebody hard. That's not what we're talking about. We want to go get him tested. And even if he loses, we're still down with him. You know what I mean? That's just probably a generational type of thing. But that's all good, man. But just learn from that. Hey, look, we ain't fans of nobody that ain't going to fight nobody. What the hell is that all about? You know what I mean? Hey, if you liking Canelo and liking Gervonta Davis, just ask them to fight somebody. And if they lose, still roll with them. You know what I'm saying? Just don't make them think that they can't lose and you're going to just throw them by the wayside. Ask them to test themselves. Don't have somebody outside asking to test them, because when you have somebody outside asking to test them, you young cats calling somebody a hater because they want to see a fight between two sport guys. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching any sport, you want, hey man, this dude or this team is better than that team. Let them do something, right? Let them challenge each other. That's no different in boxing, man. There's really no such thing as really haters. It's just people who wants to see fights and people who don't. It's really that simple, guys. Let's get this together, man. This ain't that hard. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm about to hear y'all.